Well, let me tell you something, brother.
Snort, snort, snort.
Kogan. Drip.
Snort, snort.
I got the drip. Go. But before we get to that, today we've got to talk about the conclusion of Donkey Kong Bonanza because, yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is absolutely official. As of today, we are done with... That's the wrong button. We are done with Donkey Kong Bonanza. Finally. 22 parts. But if you do the math on those parts, pretty much around 30 hours of gameplay. Now, keep in mind, I didn't do all the content. You know, was I doing most of the challenges and trying to collect all of the bananas and everything? Yes, I was for a while. But then it got played out and took so long just to keep doing that stuff that basically that last few worlds, I say last 3 worlds, I really didn't care anymore. And I just tried to push through as much as I could and finish the game, which I did last night. Like, the thing is, last night, if I had, again, gone out and tried to find all the secrets and get the relics and do all the puzzles and all the optional challenges, I wouldn't have beaten the game last night. I wouldn't have. All right? But I'm very happy that we got it done. So now I can stop having people yelling at me every day, why am I playing Donkey Kong Bonanza still? Everyone already beat it and the game sucks. And, you know, it was frustrating. It's a new Nintendo release. You want to play the new Nintendo releases, especially because I bought the Switch too. The whole idea is to play the new games that are exclusive and to review them. Like, that's a big advantage of being able to get a new console at release. But this one, man, it dragged on, and people were really upset that I spent as much time on it as I did. They wanted me to be playing other games. And to be honest, if I had played other games and dropped this halfway through, things probably would have been more beneficial to me. You know, those streams, way less attendance than most other streams, way less support than most other streams. Even last night for the conclusion of Donkey Kong Bonanza, we didn't hit a goal. I think we made around $80, so not awful. Certainly not the worst stream of Bonanza that I've done. But you see what I'm saying? Like, it was like, oh, great, it's Bonanza night, means that's going to be a slow night again. It sucks. Now, I don't know. Here's the question. I want to honestly ask you guys this, okay? I'm curious. I want your feedback on this. So what exactly was it about Donkey Kong Bonanza that you guys didn't like and you wanted me to drop it? For those who are here live, obviously for those watching on demand, you can leave a comment. What was it, okay, that you thought was not good about the game that you'll wish that I wouldn't have played it as long as I did? Because here's the thing. A lot of people are saying Donkey Kong Bonanza is absolutely an amazing game. That it's super good. That it's a system seller. I personally disagree. And if you watch my review that I put out of it last night, you'll know why. We can obviously talk about it a little bit there. Okay? See, now here's the thing. Fox McFox says, well, I didn't like watching you play it because you weren't enjoying it. All right? And because of that, it wasn't a good environment. Now, here's the truth. That's not true at all. That's not the truth at all, right? I was enjoying it up to a point. And then I kind of started calling it out and being honest about it, saying that the collectathon aspect was pretty boring. You have to keep going around and collecting all these items, right? Like, that was my major criticism. Was at first it's good, but once you realize the game is the same exact gameplay loop over and over and over, right? You end up getting bored. If there was more originality to it, if there was more variety to it, or if it was more like Super Mario Odyssey, where every world felt unique and different instead of, oh, it's exactly the same with one tiny little gameplay element tweak. It's hilarious. The first hour is like, oh my God, I can really break everything. And then when you get into like the third world, you're like, oh my God, really? All you need to do is just break everything? Like, that's literally the whole game? Danzak just did a $2 super chat. He says, simple answer is it was boring and it drags on too long. There you go. Now, what's weird is some people don't agree on that. They seem to completely disagree. They think that, oh, the gameplay is unique and it's the best Nintendo game in a long time. I'm serious. Like, some people have said Donkey Kong Bonanza is like the best Nintendo game of this generation. It really innovates and it does things so awesome. Now, I'll admit, innovation, yes, it does innovate with the destruction mechanic. But when I play a game, I want to do more than one thing. I feel like the destruction mechanic is the only thing it actually excels at. Like the platforming is just okay. The controls actually are a little bit wonky in that regard, and with some of the platforming. The boss fights are quite lame, actually, and for the most part, the game's too easy for sure. So here's the thing. I beat it last night, and the one thing I want to get across, if you haven't seen my review yet, all right, the game is actually pretty good, and the ending is superb. The final hour to hour and a half, depending on how you tackle it, of Donkey Kong Bonanza is actually the best part of the game. No lie. And I don't want to, the thing is, if I tell you exactly why, it spoils the game. So I'm not going to do that. But basically, this game is, how can I say, it basically backloads all the good moments. The good moments are all happening like at the end of the game. And I'm sorry, but you're requiring me to play either 10 hours of rushing through your game or 30 hours of grinding through your game, doing all the side content just to get to the good ending. Why not just make the whole game good? That's what actually gets me. Like, if they had followed suit with the final hour, hour and a half of the game and made the whole game like that, the game would have been much better. I.e., in a nutshell, the final level makes you actually think. It makes you use all of your transformations in certain parts. And you can actually, there's different ways to beat the final level, but basically you could go like crazy headstrong into it. With combat, you could try to go like traverse things instead. It's innovative. It's different. Most of the game isn't like that. Most of the game is very straightforward, smash everything. The final level actually isn't that, and it's better. So why didn't you make the whole game that? Like, I get that there was a new element that they had of, oh, we want to destroy everything in the environment, and that's unique, and that's what's cool about our game. That's the hook, right? But for me, okay, make that part of the game, but also put in other things that are good. And they waited till the last stage to do that. Why? Really? Like, in the last stage, everything actually gets much better, okay? But I just don't understand it. I just kind of shrug and say, I don't know. Like, I feel like modern Nintendo has lost their way. I really do. It's not that modern Nintendo doesn't have the ability to make good stuff. It's like they don't get it. Like, they don't understand what gamers want. And Nintendo used to know. Nintendo used to know this is exactly what gamers want. So give them all of this and then maybe add some innovation on the side. Or think of it this way. Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, okay, added in a brand new gameplay element. The whole construction mechanic, right? It had, you build carts, you build devices to solve puzzles. And that was good. I actually liked it. Remember, I praised it. At first, I thought, oh no, if this becomes the whole game. I even said this before the game was out. If the entire game just becomes about building stuff, then it's not Zelda anymore, and it's going to be boring. But they actually did a good job of balancing puzzles and mechanics with the new building mechanic, but they also combined it with the base gameplay of Breath of the Wild. So overall, the total package was actually pretty good. I didn't love it, but I think it was a pretty good combination. I praised it for them having this new element, but also, you know, having the stuff that people liked from the last game. With Donkey Kong Bonanza, it's like, we have a new element. Let's just make the whole game that one element. But don't you think people are going to get bored of that element? Especially if you're making a 30-hour game. People don't want to just do the same thing an entire time they're playing a game. They want a little bit of variety. Give me some kind of difference. And the things that they tried to make different, they're too easy. Oh, here's a boss fight. So, okay, so I don't just have to destroy everything. No, actually you do. You just transform and you just press the button and smash the boss easily. I don't know. I just was not blown away by this game. And some people love it. Like, really, some people are like so into it and I don't get it. Is it because I'm an older gamer and I've played a lot more games and I just know, like, I have a better frame of reference or comparison? I don't know. Dig Bick says, fun fact, it's been nearly a decade since Nintendo tried to claim all ad revenue on YouTube vids. And remember when you threw your Wii U in the trash, a decade later, they still don't really get it. I don't know. It's weird. I really. Cydia says, you're not the target audience. A lot of players 100% at the game. I get that. But the only way you would 100% this game is if you become addicted to this formula of destruction, right? Destroy everything to get every hidden collectible for the collectathon. And at first I was addicted to it. I actually liked it. But once you do it for so long, okay, I just don't understand. I don't get it. It's like, it's, you know, again, I compared it to Donkey Kong 64, right? I said, in Donkey Kong 64, the entire game is a collectathon. And there are parts of Donkey Kong 64 that are good. But do you really want to do it for 40 hours? It's the same thing over and over. And even increasing levels of annoyance, right? Like, no, I really don't want to just do that for 40 hours. I want something else better. And again, the last level actually has that. So why not the whole game? Anyway, well, I'm glad it's done. Really, I'm glad it's done. If you haven't seen my formal review, it's live on the channel. It's 15 straight minutes of talking about this game. Already has 1,000 views within like not even 12 hours and climbing, which is great. I'm happy that people are enjoying this game or this review. And thank you for those who watched the playthrough. It is now live in its entirety, 22 parts, but many of the parts are like an hour and a half long. So it really is around a 30-hour playthrough of the game. Okay? I can't even see the message. This sucks, man. I can't even see the message attached to it because it's frozen. I can't see it at all. So I don't know why it's pending. I do appreciate the tip, Final Fantasy Tactics fan. Sadly, I can't count it towards the stream until PayPal unfreezes it, because then I could see the message and everything. And let's hope that they clear it up. I mean, you've tipped it before, and I don't see the reason why they even froze this one. But again, I don't know. The only thing I will say, because I say this every once in a while, when PayPal freezes a payment, there's usually a good reason. Sometimes it's the actual text of the message you send in the payment. Like in the past, I know this is going to sound really stupid because it is. In the past, people have sent me a tip and they'll say something like, oh, you know, we're going to drop some bombs. Or one guy, actually, his name was like the oil baron in Iraq or something like that. I'm not kidding you. PayPal will freeze payments like that because they'll be like, oh, well, there might be terrorism involved. And maybe someone's trying to like send money from a terrorist organization or something. Now, obviously, that's absolutely ludicrous. If you were a terrorist organization, would you send a message in a tip saying, hey, this is to fund the bombs? You think maybe be a little bit more discreet than that? But PayPal's really stupid in that way for some reason. I don't know why, but they are. Okay? So, FYI, sorry I can't count that for now. But once it does clear, I will count it. And typically most PayPal tips that get frozen do eventually clear. The problem is you just don't know when. Sometimes it can take weeks. Sometimes it takes a day. So thank you, Final Fantasy Tactics fan. If you had a message in the body of the tip and you want to put it in the chat, I'll read it. Like, I appreciate that, and I can't see your message. I'd be more than happy to respond to what you had to say in the chat. Okay? And stop funding the bombs, for goodness sake. Obviously, that's what it is, right? Anyway. Yes, Sidious, I agree. He says, good answer. A lot of people praised Clear Obscure as being Game of the Year. I guess then it was very frustrating for you because the audience didn't like it as much as you did. Of course. And that, whenever I really like a game and it doesn't resonate with the audience, that kills me. Because it's my job, right? To enjoy games and share them with an audience. And if it doesn't work for the audience, obviously that stinks. I think it's, again, because it's an RPG, turn-based RPG. They just don't resonate with the modern audience that much, you know? I don't feel like I have that audience that likes turn-based RPGs and stuff like that. I just don't have it, right? Seldom, yes, but the thing is I don't have that audience. But didn't Clear Obscure resonate with almost every audience? Again, I don't really have a turn-based RPG audience. I don't. So because of that, whenever these games come out, they don't do well. Not even just turn-based, but just, you know, RPGs in general. Take a look at Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which everyone thought was a slam bang home run hit. It was going to be a great playthrough. People were bored at it before 20 hours and wanted me to quit it. So I did. You know? It sucks, but what can you do? That's life, right? The first is Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. The modern remake of Metal Gear Solid 3, which, from all reports now, because it's been out for a couple days for those who bought it early. I think you had to pay extra for it or whatever. They've already played through it. Apparently, Metal Gear Solid Delta is just Metal Gear Solid 3 with better graphics. Most people are even saying there's almost no gameplay improvements or tweaks. It pretty much plays exactly like the original Metal Gear Solid 3. It just looks more pretty, okay? It's full price, all right? To be fair here, it's a full price game. So let me get this straight. All you did was you graphically enhanced the game, and you're charging $70 for it. I was under the impression that it was different. I was, originally we were told this game was supposed to be like an actual like remake where it was going to have new elements and things. Apparently it doesn't. That's what people are telling me. They're saying, no, we've beat it. It took 2 days. We rushed through it. We beat it. And it's literally the same game. They didn't change anything but the graphics, $70. So that's pretty rough. All right, I'm not going to lie. That's a hard ask. That's a lot of money for literally a game I've already played twice, and all this is going to be is a graphical overhaul. Plus, a lot of people, not everyone, but a lot of people are saying that the game actually has graphical issues. That even though supposedly what you're paying for is a graphical overhaul, that it has issues with the frame rate, that the frame rate will dip in many parts of the game, and that's confusing. If I'm paying you $70 because you improved the graphics, why do the graphics not stay at that level the whole game? Why are there issues with the graphics? And again, some of the factors that we have in consideration here are that Hideo Kojima is not involved in the making of this game. It's his work, and he gets nothing for it. He was interviewed and asked about it, and he says, I just don't want to talk about it. I have no involvement with it. I'm not going to, play it. I'm not going to, discuss it. I have no comment. So obviously he's upset, right? And he has right to be. Again, not that I am the biggest fanboy of Hideo Kojima, but taking the look at the situation that has happened with him and Konami, I do actually feel like this is messed up. Like, this is a really messed up situation where maybe now what's going to happen is Konami is going to milk each and every Metal Gear Solid game, re-releasing them with modern graphics, charging $70 a pop, and Kojima gets none of that at all. That's kind of messed up, all right? It's weird to me that so many people claim to be fans of Kojima, yet they're all running out and buying this game. If you were a fan of Kojima, wouldn't you be, like, staunchly against this? Someone re-releasing his work just with upscaled graphics and then making a bunch of money on it? I would think so. But I don't know. Apparently that's not the case. I guess fanboyism only goes so far, right? Anyway, I was telling you guys, I was thinking of skipping Metal Gear Solid Delta. And the reason being is because I felt like it's not truly a new game, and that the other two games coming out next week, which are both Hollow Knight Silksong and Chronos The New Dawn, that if I don't play those two games at launch, okay, no one will care about them. Case in point, the first Hollow Knight. I didn't even know about the first Hollow Knight when it was released. Admittedly, it went over my head. I didn't know about it at all, right? Years later, I think it was like 2 years later, or at least a year later, you guys asked me to play it in a marathon to give it a shot. So I bought it. I played it during the marathon. And even though everyone had hyped it up and said that, this is going to be a big deal, nobody cared. And every once in a while, I'll get someone who asks me about Hollow Knight. Will I play it? But I feel like if I had played it when it was new, people would have cared. But it was because I was late to the game. Everyone else had already played it, right? That's why, basically, people stopped caring. It's not a big deal anymore. So I feel like if I play Hollow Knight Silksong and Chronos next week, those playthroughs will be pertinent. Everyone's going to want to see me play the new games. But if I wait, like, let's say, for example, I wait to play Chronos. Let's say I'll play it, when I have time. And let's say we don't have time until like either very late in September. Maybe I don't. Maybe I have to play it in a few months when things calm down. December, right? I don't think anyone's going to care. And that's sad, you know? Even though it might be a solid game, if I don't usually play these new releases when they're brand new, people are like, you missed the boat. You missed the opportunity to make it popular, right? Anyway, so that was my rationale, was Metal Gear Solid Delta is a remake. It's really just a graphical upgrade. It's too expensive. It basically slights Kojima. And if I play it, I have to skip a new game. And listen, I want to also say this as well, okay? I realize, again, that no matter what decisions I make, not everyone's going to be happy, all right? There's people who are my longtime fans who want certain things because they're callbacks. There's people who are fans of mine who want to see me play only new stuff. There's some people that land in between, right? And it's tough. It's tough to make these kinds of decisions, admittedly. It's not easy. I don't even know. Ultimately, I don't even know what to do. And to be honest, I don't think there is a definitive right and wrong answer. I don't think that there is this is going to be the absolute best scenario, so just do it. I feel like no matter what choice I'm about to make, I'm going to make some people happy and some people are going to be disappointed. Okay? So, here's what I think. Okay? This is based on your feedback, by the way, because honestly, earlier in the week, I had a totally different notion of what I wanted to do, but I've been looking at or listening to your feedback all week, and I think it actually kind of swayed me and changed my mind a little bit on things here. So, we ready? Drum roll. Oh, wait, I have a drum roll, don't I? No, that's not really the drum roll I want. It's more of a ta-da drum roll, right? Okay, so here are my decisions. 2 games. Ready? Are you ready? The first game, we're going to bring back Blueprints. Blueprints will come back into the rotation, and we're going to try to get the true ending this time. I'm really upset I didn't solve the throne room puzzle, and we didn't get to see the proper ending. We have to see the end of Blueprints. So Blueprints is back as of tomorrow. So people are freaking out. Yes, Blueprints. Finally. All right, no, we're not doing Blueprints. We are doing the Blue Bomber on Friday with the Mega Man Marathon, but we're not bringing back Blueprints right now, okay? Listen, I love Blueprints, and I would bring it back, but, you know, the audience wouldn't enjoy that. So we're going to actually bring back Clair Obscure, Expedition 33. Starting tomorrow, we're going to do the Act 3 content that I completely skipped as daytime streams. I'm going to use the Machinike controller so that way half the buttons won't work properly. And I'll complain about I can't aim and shoot things. It's going to be great. Expedition 33, Act 3. You've been waiting for it all year. Finally, we're doing it tomorrow. About time. Well, there you go. Grandmaster Scrub says, just surprise everyone with more DK. Just do more DK. Why not? More Donkey Kong. Do the post game. Let's do that. By the way, before I make my decision, let's get some support. Let's get our first sub over on Kick. We have no subs on Kick today. Okay? We do have some super chats. We do have a couple small tips. And we did have one member, but we have no subs on Kick. Who's going to be the first person to sub on Kick today? That is the question. All right? And let's get some more super chats. Let's get a big tip. Let's get a nice, big, juicy tip. I was supposed to get a $10 tip, and PayPal cock-blocked it. PayPal said, no, review the tip. That is absolutely unacceptable. All right. Can we get some actual tip support this morning? Let's go. All right. I have to figure out what the keyword is for today. What's going to trigger my AI to start contributing? Because remember, I need the AI to start contributing, right? Everyone knows that none of these contributions coming in are legit. They're all just robots. Everyone knows this. It's all faked contributions. So Lilia Harper did a $5 super chat. Thank you, Lilia. And she says, if I could give a critique, I think you often get easily frustrated, and nothing is worse than watching someone crap on a game that you actually enjoy. Well, here's the thing. Much like most real people, I tend to get emotional during certain moments. So, for example, if I'm playing Donkey Kong Bonanza, and the graphics are crapping out during a boss fight, and now it's running at like 12 frames per second, and I can't see what's going on, that frustrates me. And I might say things like, this game fucking sucks. Now, just because I say that in the moment, it doesn't mean that that's my all absolute belief. Do you understand? It doesn't mean that at all. Okay? It just means that I'm angry in the moment. All right? And the thing is, I'll be honest, I do feel that there are too many content creators today that do one of two things. All right? They either over exaggerate because they're trying to actually get that kind of attention. Like, they'll look for a game that's good and then they'll shit on it because that gets them attention on the internet, and then they get their clickbait. Okay? That's one kind of person. Or we could talk about the complete polar opposite, the people who literally just kiss every game's ass but don't actually play them or beat them. You know, the people who just have partnerships with every single company. They get every game for free early. They get to play it exclusively early because they're special. But you notice they never say anything negative about the games they play, but they also never finish them. They'll do like 2 streams as a promotion and kiss the game's butt. And then after that, that's it. They're on to another game that they're getting paid for. You see? I'm not like either of that. What it is I feel like I'm more like you than most other content creators. In the moment, I'll get emotional and I'll say something, but then I'll be sure to correct myself later. Like, for example, with Donkey Kong Bonanza, absolutely, there were times during the playthrough I was bored to tears. Because I'm like, dude, I'm still just smashing things. I'm still just doing the same thing over and over. I'm bored of this. And then I'm not having a good time. But take a look at last night's stream. Even though I was very frustrated at one particular boss, when I got to that final segment of very original gameplay, of cool nostalgia and things that was like tying it back to previous Donkey Kong, I loved it. And did I not title the last part of my playthrough like the best final hour ever? Because I really feel like it is. Like, take a look at most modern games. I actually feel like that final hour of Donkey Kong Bonanza is absolutely the epitome of what they did with that game. It's the absolute best, you know? So even though I over exaggerate sometimes in a heat of a moment when I'm angry, I'll try to be fair overall. You know, I did a review and I didn't say Donkey Kong Bonanza is the worst game ever and Nintendo sucks butt. I didn't say that. What I said was Donkey Kong Bonanza is a big disappointment. Why? Because it was to me. Because I was looking for more and I didn't get it. Why is it that I enjoyed a game that Nintendo put out 8 years ago way more than their modern take at this style of game? It's confusing. Okay? So I hope you understand that when I'm playing a game and you see me, I'm not enjoying it or whatever, it's not a show, right? It's just me being emotional in the moment. And I'm trying to be honest with the audience. The thing is, unlike a lot of other creators, I don't stand to benefit if I lie or exaggerate like they do. Like, I'm not going to get extra views because I say something sucks that really doesn't. And I'm also not going to get benefits from kissing the game's butt. I'm kind of a very unique creator in the middle there where I can be honest with the audience. And because I'm honest, that's why a lot of people really like my content, because they know when they come to a DSP gaming stream, you're getting my truthful opinions and feelings in the moment about what we're doing. You're not getting a paid ad. You're not getting someone who's being disingenuous for clickbait. You're getting the truth. And I apologize if there are times when I come through as overly aggressive, maybe being too harsh on something. Okay. I know that sometimes I am, and I do apologize for that. That's something that I've really tried to work on in the 17 years I've been a creator. I think I'm much better at it today than I used to be. I used to get very angry with games and constantly just slam them. Let's be honest, that was kind of the whole angry reviewer mentality back in the day, where you had angry video game nerd, you had nostalgia critic, and everyone on the internet wanted to be an angry reviewer, right? So everyone was yelling and screaming about every game. So I over-exaggerated. I would say games were horrible and stuff when they really weren't. Today, I try not to do that, all right? I try to be, if I'm in the moment and I call something out for what it is, fine. But I'm not going to unfairly say, this game is terrible, it sucks ass, it's the worst game ever, you know. So anyway, thank you for the super chat. And I understand what you're saying. I appreciate your critique. If I'm playing a game and I get frustrated, it's not as entertaining as when I'm enjoying myself. At the same time, I don't want to fake it to make it. I don't want to act like every game that I play, I'm enjoying at every moment, because I feel like that would be disingenuous to my audience. A lot of my audience is here and are longtime viewers and supporters because I've been me and haven't changed in the 17 years that I've been a creator. They don't want to see me become Mr. Positive or Mr. Hateful. They want to see that true nature that I found, that balance in between. So I hope you understand that. Thank you for the feedback, and thank you for the support. I really do appreciate it. Okay. All right. So where was I? Let's think about this. Oh yeah, I was talking about how we're going to bring back Donkey Kong Bonanza tomorrow, and we're going to do the post-game content. All right. So starting tomorrow, I'm changing every animation on the stream to be bananas. Every animation will be a variation of bananas, and we'll play a different part of the banana song. How does that sound? Okay, anyway. I think it's time to get serious, don't you? People want to know what I'm playing, for goodness sake, and they're upset with me that I'm beating around the bush and I'm not telling you. So I think I finally have to tell you now. The suspense is building, but now the suspense must come to an end, and I must give you what you want. I must stop killing time needlessly, and instead I must give my audience the information that they so crave. When I announced this podcast yesterday, I said this was going to be a big show where I was going to give you the solid decision on what games I'm playing in the next week and through September. And so now I have to do that. I'm not one of those people that's going to promise you something and then bait you with it and then not give it to you. I'm really dragging this out so long. This might be the most dragged out segment I've ever done on the show. I think we should just call it the level 1 stall cast at this point. Wow. The bush has been burned, flogged, and magogged. Okay. All right. All right, well, here is my take. Okay, you ready? I feel like with what I want to do, I want to do something that, okay, I'm going to play 2 games. Let's make this clear. I'm going to play 2 out of the 3 games. I'm not saying that means that I'm never going to play one of these games. I'm just saying that for now, I feel like these are the 2 games that I want to play the most for completely different reasons. Okay? So here's the truth. Of these 3 games, which game do I actually want to play the most? If you were to ask me, Phil, you got 3 on the table. One is a remake of a classic you've already played. One is the sequel to a game that you never played, but people asked you to play over the years. And one is the probable spiritual successor to a game that you really like. What game do you want to play the most? Well, I would say, well, let's weigh and balance these options. In this case, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm still beating around the bush. I love it. Dude, I still haven't said anything. Boy, I'm becoming a master of talking a lot and saying absolutely nothing, aren't I? This is pretty good. Okay, I'm just going to do it right now because enough. This is nonsense. The game that I want to play the most out of all 3 of those games is Chronos, A New Dawn. That's the absolute God's honest truth. Out of those three, that's the one that I want to play the most. Why? Because it is a genuine new game. It's not a sequel. It's not a remake. It's a genuine new game. It has potential to become a new IP if it's successful. And it's based on a series that I really love. Okay? So that's the game I want to play the absolute most. So we're not playing it. No, I'm just kidding. That one we're going to play. We're going to play Chronos. Okay? 100%. We're doing that. We're starting Chronos next week. We are going to play. Ready? Oh, I received a tip. Hold on. I just received a tip. The Dark Side Child Returns tips $1, says, I want to ask how things are looking for Metal Gear Solid 3 Remake. If you're still on the fence about it, I hope you take this tip as support for trying this out, Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater Delta. And what did I miss with the big podcast? Would you be open to reactions for the Chill with Phil stream tonight? So we have $1 of support for Metal Gear Solid 3. So someone actually suggested something. Okay? Someone suggested something to me, and it was intriguing. Here's what they said. They said, are you aware that there are other content creators? Here's what they do. If they're indecisive about what to do on a stream, they'll actually throw it to the audience. But what they'll do, listen to this, they'll say, hey, here's what we do. Today, if you want this game, support the stream, and in your support, in the message, tell me what game you want. So let's say, for example, we're trying to decide between Metal Gear Solid Delta and Hollow Knight Silksong, right? So I would say, well, today when you contribute to the stream, in your message, say which game you want. I'll start a running tally of what support each game's getting. And by the end of the day, that determines what game I'm going to be playing, right? So, for example, I think someone showed me a suggestion of this. Like there's a sports streamer. I have no clue who they are. I actually never seen them before. I don't even know their name. But they showed me like their setup. And it was like, so here's the possible games that we can do today. We could do this team versus this team versus this team, or this team versus this team. Contribute, and I'll tally this up. And at the end, we'll see which had the most support, and that's what we're going to do. Okay? Now, here's the thing. I think this idea, in some cases, makes sense, okay? But in others, it doesn't. Some people have already argued, they already said in chat, well, doesn't that mean that the whales will just control your content? That the whales are purchasing a playthrough with their dollar? Because let's say, for example, today, I said, during the course of this GTA 4 stream and tonight's Chill with Phil stream, you could support either Metal Gear Solid Delta, or you can support Hollow Knight Silksong. Contribute. In your contribution, say what you want. I'll tally it up all day. I'll have a running total. And then, at the end of the day, at the end of the late stream, I'll let you know what game had the most support. Now, although I do think this could be an excellent fundraising tactic, because let's be honest, there's some people out there who have said, I outright will pay for Metal Gear Solid Delta because I really want to see you play it. And then there's other people who are saying, I will outright pay for Hollow Knight Silksong because you didn't play Hollow Knight and I'm dying to see Silksong. I want to see you play it. So this might actually bring people out to support a playthrough before I've even done the playthrough. Wait a minute. You could raise money for something and you didn't even do it? Really? This is fascinating. This is a fascinating idea, and I didn't even come up with it. This is something, This is very interesting. All right? So here's what we're going to do. All right? Today, Matt says, you get a troll who donates $100 to purposely play the most boring game, and although you get the $100, which is great, now you might get overall less support for the totality of the stream that you're going to do. There you go. here's what we're going to do. All right. Today, it's so good. Today, when you support the streams, all right, like for example, right now, if you're to super chat, or if you're gonna tip, or even if you're gonna give some subs, all right, when you do it, I want you to tell me either in the body of your contribution or in chat. I want you to tell me, do you like this idea? Say yes, Phil. I like the idea of having financial goals for certain playthroughs, and you should do that. If you don't like the idea, in your contribution, I want you to tell me that you don't like the idea and you don't want me to ever do it. Okay? So first, I want you to pay me to tell me if you even like the idea of having to raise funds to pick a playthrough. And then later on, I want you to again contribute for a playthrough before it even happens, and it may not even happen. For the record, I'm just messing with all of you. I'm not going to do any of this, okay? At least not now. I have no plans on doing any of this at all, okay? Brian says, Chronos the New Dawn got delayed. Let's double check that. I did not want to click that. What did I just click? Chronos the New Dawn, wrong. It's listed as September 5th, 2025. The game will unlock in approximately 8 days. It did not get delayed. That's baloney. Okay. I'll also double check. I'll search on Google just to confirm, but it doesn't look like it got delayed. It looks like you're full of crap. My Ruin, 25 months as a member, says, here's my vote for Metal Gear Solid 3 Delta. Wow. And then we got Chef Demeski, who did a $2 super chat and says, play Homefront the Revolution. Oh, well, that's an option I never considered. Here's the thing. I wasn't going to play Homefront the Revolution, but since we're doing it this way, if I get enough support for Homefront the Revolution, maybe we'll just play that tomorrow instead. How about that? We'll do it that way. We'll even have games that weren't supposed to be in the running will now become in the running because people are paying for them. See, that's how it works. You pay to play. Do you understand the slippery slope here? That if I did do this, let's be honest, it's a scam. All right? If I ran this scam, how dangerous it would be. Because you literally have people constantly demanding stuff just for contributions. And I don't want my streams to be that. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that overall it would benefit the content. Dan Zach did a $2 super chat says it could be genius, but hell, it could be chaos. You're right. It could just be people buying the content. And here, I've outright said this too. As much as I rely on support to make a living, I don't want content to be purchased content just for a small few. I don't want this to be, hey, come to DSP Gaming today to see the playthrough that 2 people paid to have happen and no one really wants. I want it to be content you guys all want to see, you know? A few tips have come in. Okay, so here's the deal. I'm about to make my decision, okay? And this decision is not my original decision. I had something that originally I wanted to do, but I listened to you and your feedback this week, all the things that you guys reached out and told me. And you said this and this and this. And I said, oh, okay, I'll listen. So I've been listening all week. And now finally, based on listening, I've made a definitive decision. The game that I will be playing will be Metal Gear Solid Delta. Yes, I'm playing Metal Gear Solid Delta starting tomorrow. And there is no podcast tomorrow. We'll do a half-an-hour hangout, and then we will get maximum gameplay of Metal Gear Solid Delta starting tomorrow on the first stream. 3 to 4 hours of Metal Gear Solid Delta on the first stream. So there you go. And you might say, well, why are you doing that? Because so many people reached out to me this week, basically, and said, no, really, like, even though we're well aware you suck at Metal Gear, and I admit I suck at Metal Gear, right? The classics, for sure. Metal Gear Solid 5, I actually did good at. Every other game I sucked at. Every other Metal Gear I've been terrible at, okay? people have an actual nostalgic feeling for my playthroughs of Metal Gear Solid, even though they were so bad, they actually kind of spawned the creation of this is how you don't play. The Metal Gear Solid playthroughs actually began a negative feeling against me on the internet because people started to look at my content and say, man, this guy literally just always blames everything else. He never takes responsibility. Look at him insulting Hideo Kojima. Now, the thing is, I wasn't serious about that. Purposefully, when I played these games, my idea was I'm going to be so offensive towards Kojima and the games because I know that these games have such a crazy fan base that hopefully this will blow up. But I didn't think it was going to blow up the way that it did in a toxic, negative way. I thought it was just going to give me attention. Instead, people literally started to hate my guts because of what I was doing in those playthroughs. I don't know why people took it so seriously because I think most people understood the joke back then, except that when I played Metal Gear Solid, then everyone took it seriously and was all upset with me. I did the exact same thing with all the other games I played. That was fine. I did it with Metal Gear. Oh my God, blasphemy, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow we do it all again. We start tomorrow, all right? So, yes, Metal Gear Solid Delta starts tomorrow. Tomorrow, it all begins again. Metal Gear Solid Delta here on DSP Gaming. I hope that you will be here for the hilarity and the fun. If people actually put their money where their mouth is, all right? And what I mean by that is people really this week seemed upset that I may not play this. And we're like, oh, we're going to support it, right? If you actually do support Metal Gear, we may hit enough goals to actually do DSP Tries It, the Flight of Beers taste test on tomorrow night's late stream after CVS 2 ends. We might actually be able to get to it. Right now, we're at 24 out of 30 goals. If we hit these goals, we'll do it. But we have to hit the goals. Let's do it. In fact, right now, why don't we get some support for my decision? Because I know you all really like my decision, right? You're all very pleased with the decision that I just made. So why not support the stream right now? Right? Why not send our first sub of the day? Why don't we get some subs over on Kick right now? I see some of you over there who are supporters. Why not send some subs? How about some memberships on YouTube? How about a super chat or a tip in celebration that we will be starting Metal Gear Solid Delta tomorrow right here on DSP Gaming? No? All right, guys, I'm about to end the show. Can we get halfway to the goal before the end? We are a mere like $10-something away. Can we hit $75 right now to end the podcast? That way we only have to raise the other half during the GTA part to hit the goal. Can we do it right now? Can we get our first sub on Kick? We had 0 support from Kick this morning. 0. And I'm getting tired of looking over there and seeing a big goose egg. I'm getting very frustrated. You understand me? Let's get some Kick support. Right now.
I got the drip going. 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 I got the drip going.
It's like a faucet that's dripping. You can't make it stop. So what do you want me to do? Have a mute button that every second I'm tapping the mute button just in case I'm gonna have to clear? Like, this is what I mean, these dumb kids. This is what it is, it's dumb kids.